Good evening, skeletons. I'm Benthelooney, and welcome back to Octoberfest. One element of Halloween that I love is horror movies. Of course, I watch horror movies year-round, but around Halloween time is when they work best. You know me, I love several classic horror films, and I love a handful of modern horror films as well. However, there are times when modern filmmakers don't have scary ideas of their own, so they make horrible remakes of classic horror movies. Oh, how I hate them! They drive me to drink! Apple juice. So, how about I take some time to tear horror remakes a new one? For starters, I'd like to say that some horror remakes are actually good. Yeah, shocker of the year. There are actually a few horror remakes I personally enjoy. For example, The Thing is completely different from the original, and I myself think that the remake is superior to it. Nothing against the original, I just like how the remake played with the idea of the Thing possessing other people, and it had a paranoia tone to it, which made it haunting. I also like the Dawn of the Dead remake, but only because I don't consider it a remake. Other than the mall setting, it's a completely different movie, so they should have called it something else. Finally, I did enjoy the few Hammer horror movies that I've seen. So, yes, I do believe remakes can work, if, and only if, they have love for the original, and they offer something new, rather than just being rehashes of the classics. But, as you know, things don't always go the way I wish they would go. I like to point out that the horror genre is the genre with the most remakes. Why? What is it about the genre that requires the most remakes? It's probably because that they're the easiest films to copy. A lot of horror films have pretty straightforward plots, so filmmakers look at them and say, hey, that'll be easy for me to copy. Honestly, is originality a dead word these days? Is it really that hard to come up with their own ideas? I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're a filmmaker and you can't come up with your own ideas to put on film, you picked the wrong career choice. The main thing I hate about horror remakes is most of them really have no point to exist. Like I said earlier, some horror remakes are made to build off of the ideas of the original and make a few changes to become a movie by itself, which is when I think changes actually work. However, some horror remakes just don't even try. All they do is just make the movie in a different time period. So, what's the point of watching the remake? I'll just watch the original. Simple as that. But the reason why a lot of horror movies are remade is just so they can be updated for modern audiences. There Hollywood goes again, thinking kids won't watch anything that wasn't made 5 minutes ago. It hurts me to say that they're right. It sucks that a lot of kids won't even be aware of the original, even if the original isn't even that old. Come on, did we really need remakes of Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street? Those movies were made in the 80s, for God's sake! Are they really that old? Oh, the 80s! Such medieval times! They were still using horses and buggies! Give me a break! Now, I would like to take the time to talk about specific horror remakes that I can't stand. First would be Rob Zombie's Halloween. Being such a big fan of the original, I hated the first half of this movie. Did we really need to see how Michael Myers became Michael Myers? The reason I was so fascinated by Michael Myers in the first place is because of how mysterious he is. He's just a kid that went crazy. There, that's all you need. But nope, Rob Zombie wanted to explore Michael Myers' childhood and dig deep into why he became crazy. I know, I said earlier that I prefer when remakes do different things from the original, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like all of those different things, especially when the backstory is the typical kid being raised in an abusive family storyline. Yeah, it's always the bad families that raise serial killers. It's never the angelic families. So, I hate the first half of this movie, but I thought it picked up a little bit in the second half. A little bit. I thought that Laurie Strode in this movie liked the charm that Jamie Lee Curtis had, and I think Zombie went a little overboard with the blood. But for what it is, it's a decent slasher movie. I just don't consider it a Halloween movie. Finally, I'd like to talk about a remake that's so bad that it's universally despised, and that's the remake of Psycho. Yes, this actually exists. Unfreaking believable. This film ticks me off so much that I haven't even seen it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ben, how can you rant on a movie you haven't seen? How unprofessional! Well, the joke's on you. I've actually seen this movie. It's called The Original. The Original is a classic that can't be topped. The very idea of somebody remaking it is just baffling to me. What are you trying to prove? What can you do that Alfred Hitchcock couldn't do? That's right, nothing! You can't make this movie better than it already is. It's like painting over the Mona Lisa. It's fine the way it is. Leave it alone. Well, actually, the film does just that. It uses the same dialogue and score from the original, and it's shot the exact same way. Wow, I guess you knew you couldn't make the movie better, so you just reshoot it just so your name can be up there with Alfred Hitchcock's. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but films don't work that way. Sure, you can use the same elements from the original film, but it isn't going to work the way the original does, especially when you don't have a great cast like Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh. Who do you replace them with? Vince Vaughn and Anne Heche? Really? Ow. Just thinking about Vince Vaughn playing such a legendary character scares me. Nobody can pull off Norman Bates the way Anthony Perkins can. I don't normally get scared at movies, but Anthony Perkins comes really close to making me feel uncomfortable. So, this piece of spit remake is a perfect example as to why classic films need to be left alone. Those films are classics for a reason, because they hold up well into the modern age. They don't have to be remade. And when they are, it's a spit in the face to the original filmmakers that brought those films to life. So, there's my rant on horror remakes. While some know what made the originals so great and are nothing but love letters to them, others are just cheap cash cows that are made because people are afraid to watch movies just because they weren't made in this Instagram generation. Anyway, I'm Benthelooney, and I'm signing out. I'm gonna go pray that they don't remake Suspiria.